Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Kryptic TMG and I'm back with a brand new video. And finally we are back, man. If you guys are wondering where I have been, last, I would say 2 months it's been crazy, okay? First of all, for all you guys that knew, I had COVID for a bit, so I couldn't stream. I wasn't really uploading videos because I was just sick, okay? And at the same time, my missus was heavily pregnant. Last 2.5 weeks, well, 2.5 weeks ago, she gave birth to a baby boy. So I got a son. I got a new sim racer in the making, alright? And then as I was about to get back to streaming and making videos, I did my back in, guys. And when I say my back was done, I'm telling you, my back was finished. I couldn't even sit in my chair, okay? So that sort of delayed my process to getting back. So this is sort of my first race I've done since, I don't know, I think I did a stream like a few weeks ago, before my back went, but this literally is my first proper race in like 6 weeks or so, you know, since AOR finished. So back in the mix, back on LFM. Decided to take the AMG because I just thought, you know, why not try something new, something I'm not used to driving. So I've jumped in the AMG for this race. We've got Luke Addison in here, we've got Gregor Schill and some pretty quick guys in the Porsche as well. So just trying to get into the mix and see what I could do. And as you could already tell, I'm rusty, man. I'm not gonna lie, I am rusty. I've been kind of working on this setup for like a day or so, and the car feels alright. There was definitely some things that I needed to change, but as I said, this is me just getting stuck back in. I managed to qualify 4th, and my lap wasn't that great, man. I've definitely been quicker in the practice lobby, but I was still up with the guys at the front. So I was just going to try and maintain my pace, and hopefully we can do what we normally do in LFM. We tend to come back towards people towards the end because for some reason I just look after tyres. Even when I'm not trying, I actually just think it must just be a driving style thing. I tend to look after tyres, but the AMG, I believe, is quite difficult on tyres, man. And I haven't done a proper race in the AMG since, I don't know, what AOR season was it? Was it AOR or ACR? One of them seasons I picked the AMG and I had an absolute nightmare in it. I got binned like every race. It was terrible, alright? But this is the first time since I'm really getting to grips with sort of race pace and stuff like that. I know it's only a 25-minute race, but you can kind of see what the car's like on tyres, especially if you push early on in the race. How ACC is now, you push too early on in the race, you definitely get punished, even if it's 25 minutes. But managing to kind of stick with the guys at the front, they definitely got more pace. I'm not too sure about the AMG's BOP regarding Zandvoort. There's been so many changes in the last couple of months in terms of BOP and stuff. I'm not even fully clued up. What I do know is the Honda NSX is now a viable car. The BMW always, stronger in the race and in quality, I would say. And the Porsche, I believe, is normally a pretty good car here as well. I do know that the Bentley is normally strong here. I probably would have picked the Bentley if I just wanted to, perform as well as I could. But at the same time, I drive the Bentley all the time. So I wanted to use something else to really try and challenge myself, man. I'm back, okay? I'm back. I want to do something different, alright? But anyway, man, we're trying to keep with this guy in the Porsche with his pink livery, making sure we can see him at all times. But as you can see, we're starting to fall away a little bit, and you've got Gregor Schill and Luke Addison battling up ahead, which I kind of think is kind of helping me stay in touch a little bit. I wish I did actually use a higher rear brake ducts because I believe my rear tyres are cooking just a little bit. And you'll see in this race, as it goes on, that brake temperature can build up a little bit, and as the tyres get a little bit hot, and what I personally hate is hot rear tyres, because it means that you slide, and once that happens, once you have one big slide, then you're in trouble. Especially on a track like Zandvoort where, tyre wear is definitely crucial, and overheating your tyres around Zandvoort is also very crucial. But as you can see, we're not doing too badly, lads. We're not doing too badly. First race back in that, we're not getting completely dropped off, I was pleasantly surprised by the AMG. It's so nice on the brakes, very compliant over the bumps, and what I like the most about the AMG is it's out of corners, it's an absolute beast. But as of right now, we're actually just struggling in terms of pace. You can see it's starting to slide a little bit through that corner. I was getting a bit scared, man. I was starting to look at my tyre pressures, and then I was looking at the actual brake temperatures and the tyre temps, and I could see my left-hand side tyres are starting to go a little bit too yellow. Now, I don't know if that's me pushing too hard for the corners, but I actually think it's just me sliding the car. And that's why I wish I went with slightly higher brake ducts, especially on the rear, because I would have been able to protect myself against the tyres, the tyre heat a little bit more. And as that builds up, it's going to become more and more difficult. But the guys up ahead, battling and battling, keeping me in the sort of in the battle. But we do have a Porsche and a Bentley behind us, which I believe are the two strongest cars on this track. So it's not going to be too easy. I can't make any mistakes. And again, you can see the heat building up through the left-hand side tyres, man. And the guys up front, they were too quick. They were starting to fly. And I was starting to struggle in terms of pace. I'm not going to lie. It was only a couple of laps into the race. My arms were already getting tired. That's how you know I haven't been doing anything to do with racing for the last couple of weeks, because my arms are actually getting tired, bro. I was literally like, what's going on? This is gym right now, okay? This is gym. But yeah, I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed being back. I haven't done a live stream in quite some time. I'm planning to get back to the live streaming next week, man. And at the moment, it's going to be mainly LFM races, because it allows me a little bit more flexibility in terms of when I can and can't get on. So you might catch me doing a lot more streams in the daytime. Again, when you've got a baby in the house, sometimes you just, you know, you can't sign up to the big leagues. You can't commit. I can't commit, lads. It's very hard. Alright, I'm 3 kids deep now. 3 kids deep. Maybe it's time to get the snip. I don't know. Maybe, but definitely gonna be, you know, doing some LFM races. I believe Dave Cam was also in this race, and Raggy, is it Raggy? I think he was also in this race as well. So quite a lot of people in this race, quite a lot of people showed up, and this race was at 11:15 a.m. Thursday morning. So you can see like how good LFM is and how many people are actually attracted to jumping on the website, signing up for races. Sort of the whole iRacing system really has, you know, added another element to ACC, and I believe that we should commend LFM. You know, we should give them their flowers, you know, because realistically the service that they're providing could easily be something they charge for, and I think a lot of people would still pay, to be honest. But getting stuck into the race now, we're just trying to hold our pace, man. We've done our fastest lap, which, it's kind of there. You know, we're kind of close. I do think there were things in the setup that I would have changed had I have had a bit more practice time. And now for the first time I was actually using the setup in the race, I was seeing the things that I didn't like, and it was definitely the rear was becoming a little bit too oversensitive, and I was getting a little bit scared through these corners. The back end started to slide, and there you see the back end goes. I managed to catch it and keep it out of the wall, and now we know we're in trouble. Look at the tires, look at the heat on the tires. Now we know we're going to have to be careful every time we get to that corner, and that's what I was fearing a little bit. Tires gone completely yellow, and now we're going to try and cool that tire down, and that's the problem with ACC. That is one of the things that I do love, the fact that you make a mistake, you overheat the tires, it's not just going to straight away come back to you. You sort of have to look after your tires for the next few laps to try and get that temperature back down, and that's all we could do really. There was no point in me trying to push to catch the guys in front, because I could clearly see, even while battling, they just had the extra pace, and me trying to fight and trying to, you know, really ring the car to try and get anywhere near him, I was probably just going to end up making more mistakes. And as the tires had already overheated, kind of had to be a little bit more careful. And you'll see in a minute, I think I start moving my brake bias forward just to protect myself against the crazy oversteer that we got through that fast right-hander, man. But guys behind also battling. As I said, the Bentley and the Porsche very fast around this track, and I was gapping them at one stage, but that mistake has brought them back into play, and I'm still sort of lapping around my fastest lap time. But you know, I've lost that slipstream now, so catching the guys ahead, I doubt it's going to happen. It looked as if Addison was slightly holding up Gregor Schill. As I said, the BMW is very fast in the race. It doesn't have the outright pace in quali. It's sort of, you know, it's like the Bentley around certain tracks. You know, it's not as outright fast in quali, but in the race it just drives away. And if it is very fast in quali, then you know in the race its race pace is going to be insane. But again, it's a very you know, user-friendly car, the BMW. If you're new to ATC and you're thinking of any cars to try, or if you just want to get used to the game, my advice would be to jump in something like the BMW or maybe the Aston. Cars that are very friendly, very user-friendly, very easy to get along with. Jump in those cars, have a go. Or you could jump in and try the AMG, which is just like a solid all-round car, man. As I'm getting to know it more, it's not the easiest car to set up. I was actually trying to do the dampers, and listen, I'm not too bad at making dampers. I know how to use Motec. I was confused, bro. I was just looking at it like it was algebra. I didn't know what to do. Okay, I can make everything feel great, but the dampers I haven't quite nailed, which is why I think I'm suffering a little bit on pace and just certain instabilities during the race. In quali, I can hammer a lap out. It's not too bad. I think our fastest lap in quali, well, in quali spec, is a 34.4, which is the fastest I've got with the AMG at the moment. For this race, I think I only did a 35.1, so I was quite far off my own quali pace. If I had managed to match my time, I actually would have got pole position, which is not too shabby, lads. Not too shabby on the first day back. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, you can see we're up on our time now. We've hit that curb, and everyone knows that particular curb on this game is going to take your front right tire pressure away. Had I remembered that before the race, I actually would have over pressurized the front right hand tire, so when I do start losing pressure, because you kind of have to hit the curb, when I do start losing pressure, I would still have a decent amount of tire pressure in the right hand tire come the end of the race. Because what tends to happen is as you hit that curb again and again, lap after lap, you lose your tire pressure. Once that tire pressure starts going down, you can get a slow puncher, and then it makes all the tight corners just harder to get the nose in. And I've experienced it numerous times in this game with numerous cars. It happens in every car. Nobody is safe. No car is safe. But you can see we're lapping about 4 tenths off of the fastest guys at the front at the moment. Starting to struggle a bit more. The guys behind starting to catch me, and yeah, starting to get a little bit tough. Now I'm almost driving in my mirrors, because I feel like I've got pace, but at the same time I feel like the tires are just not in the right window. Even though the PSIs weren't bad, I was making them work too hard, and I was starting to feel the tire slip in the car, and I was definitely going to be wearing the tires too quickly. Had to be a little bit careful through this corner, man. I was a little bit scared because we already saw what happened before. I managed to catch it and not hit the wall on the inside. I've actually had that spin loads of times in the past. I was just happy to hold it this time, and you can see I could get up on my fastest lap, but as we get in towards the tighter corners, the fact that I've started to lose pressure in the front right hand corner, for this next section I just struggled, man. I couldn't really get the nose in to the right hand side of this next corner. As I turned right here, I struggled to get the nose in really tight, and then for some reason, for whatever reason, I just was losing time for this section, man. And I think it was just, you know, low tire pressure or something, but I just kept losing time. I could have possibly on this lap beat my fastest lap time, but as you saw, as we went over the curb, we just back end stepped out a little bit, and then we just lost a temp. So this lap was not actually too bad, man. We're still lapping within a few tenths of the guys at the front, which is not too bad. If I hadn't have made that mistake, maybe I could have stuck in the slipstream as they battled and maybe kept myself in the battle for the win. But yeah, we still having decent enough pace. I was pretty happy with my pace, to be honest, because, you know, I feel like, you know, not racing, sometimes you feel like, I actually feel like I've been away for like 6 months. That's how it feels when you don't race every day and you get back and you're so rusty. You're like, Jesus Christ, how far am I off the pace? I think the first lap I did when I got back on Zandvoort was like a 37 as we've gone onto the gravel and almost died. We're not going to turn on in this guy. We had to give him the space, otherwise we would have had a massive crash. And you can see, man, just making mistakes, bro. Just making mistakes. Small mistake as we came off the curb. The car reacted pretty violently, dragged us back on the grass as well. And if I would have just turned right straight away, I probably would have ended up spinning it. So I had to sort of put the car straight to try and recover. And that's let, how am I going to say this name? Vinogradov, or I'm not going to bother, okay? The guy in the Porsche, he let the guy in the Porsche through. And now on Zandvoort, we all know it is exceedingly difficult to overtake, very hard to overtake. So we're going to have to hope that we can force him into a mistake as well. And actually, if you can see, going on the gravel, going on the grass, actually helped cool our tyres down. We now lost some of that tyre temperature. And what do you know, as I had a bad lap and made a mistake, the guys at the front actually had a bad lap and made a mistake. So if I had not made that mistake, I would be able to gain around about a second, because they did like a 36.4 and we were doing mid 35. So that tends to happen. I don't know why it happens. It's so weird. It's sort of like, I don't know, is it a mental thing? I don't know, lads. I have no idea. It's sort of like when you get to the front door and you're about to put your key in the door, and all of a sudden you just need the toilet so bad. As soon as you go to put the key in the door, you just need the toilet. And it's sort of the same sort of thing. The moment you have a bad lap, the guys that you were chasing at the front, they tend to have a bad lap on the exact same time. So you make up no time whatsoever. I don't know why racing's like that, it just happens. But again, you can see now our front right tyre pressure down to 27.3 around this section of the track. Obviously your tyre pressure fluctuates towards the lap, and you sort of want to, you know, as you go around the lap, you can sort of gauge, you know, on average where your tyre pressure is at. So for me, I definitely knew my tyre pressure was too low, because all the hardest right hand corners we've already sort of gone through. All the corners that are gonna, sorry, all the left hand corners that are gonna stress the right hand corner the most, we've already gone through. So now I know my tyre pressures are definitely too low. As we made a mistake, the Bentley almost got alongside us, but we was holding the inside line, and there's just not much you can do to overtake someone around here, because there's just nowhere to overtake. It's very, very hard. I do wish, one of my major wishes is if we got the updated version to Zandvoort. I think would produce a little bit better racing, different lines you'd be able to take through the new cambered corners. It would be very fun, man. I'd love to see it. Just imagine the massive camber and the different lines we would take. Just, you know, remember in F1 round here, the different lines they took in F1 were pretty interesting, man. It seems as if you can take a few different lines through them cambered corners. So I'd love to get the new layout of Zandvoort. I think it would go down a treat. But it's still an interesting track. I actually enjoy driving Zandvoort. I know it's not the best for racing, but you know, it's one of those tracks where you just have to be focused all the time, man. And when you do put a good lap together, it definitely feels extremely nice. But now you can see again my tyre pressure down to 27.2. Even though my left hand pressures are not too bad, the tyre temps are pretty much through the roof. And as I said, you get one little slide to add to it, it's all over. But we're still trying to keep in the mix. We're not that quick at the moment. Last lap we made a mistake. And you can see the Porsches are very fast. And the thing about being in a Porsche, one, they are pretty tricky to drive. As I get on the gravel again, and the Bentley's going to be right on us now. The Bentley is so fast through the last corner, and I just think I was lucky enough to hold him up through that last corner. If he was a little bit further behind, he would have got a much better run. We're going to hold the inside line. I know it's almost impossible to go around the outside just because of how the corner is cambered and the fact that the outside line is just completely dirty, full up of marble. So I know it's pretty impossible to get around the outside of someone if they brake and don't overshoot the corner. So we managed to hold on to the position, but we're now under pressure. And there's a Porsche behind as well, another McLaren behind. We're kind of holding up a little train at the moment. We started 4th, we're down to 5th, and it's not what we wanted for our first race back. I've made one too many mistakes, I would say. 6 minutes to go in the race, and it hasn't been the best performance, but I'm still happy that my pace wasn't actually too far off. If I had come back and had a 2-second gap to the guys, I would have been in tears, mate, drinking my tears out of a cup. But I think Gregor Schill and Addison actually had some contact, and I believe Gregor Schill Luke got a little bit sideways going through the fast right-hander as he hits the curb, and Gregor Schill's just tapped the back of him because he's got nowhere to go, and they've both gone off. Schill obviously waits for Addison, and it's put us up into the podium position. Can I get a podium on my first race back? I haven't deserved it, but sometimes you've got to be in it to win it, mate. You've got to be in it to win it. as you've been seeing in F1 at the moment, sometimes, you know, you get the result just by being there, okay? And that's what we're going to have to do. The guy up front in the Porsche is flying. As you can see, we're back into the 35.7s, man. Our consistency hasn't been great. I believe our lap times have been a little bit all over the place. I feel like the Bentley behind is actually quicker than us at the moment. But I know there's just nowhere he can really get run, because as I said before, the AMG in the acceleration zones absolutely minted. Absolutely mint in the acceleration zones. Watch as we come out this corner. There's nothing he can do. Nothing he can do. It probably has a similar acceleration to the Porsche, and I would say a higher top speed. But then the Porsche, I think, is so much more nimble and quicker through the corners, and that's where I reckon they get a lot of their lap time. But the AMG does not feel bad, man. And for people quicker than me, I'm pretty confident in the next SRO race around Zandvoort, you may see some AMGs towards the front. I think the AMGs will surprise quite a lot of people, because I think it's a pretty quick car. I know that the Porsche and the Bentley are probably going to be the two cars that are, you know, up towards the front. Maybe even the Honda as well. I believe the Honda to be quite quick. But I believe if people are in the AMG, they may surprise a few with the lap times they're able to produce. I'm expecting in SRO, we're probably going to see lap times around 33.4s and stuff like that. So I would say between a 33.4 and a 33.6, I believe, will be the pole times for SRO when that comes back on. I think it should have been on Wednesday, but this problem where ACC servers are getting DDoS attacked or whatever it is, that's delaying the SRO. I've been looking forward to it so much watching it, man. It really is watching the top level guys do just insane lap times, and the racing is just crazy. I love all the little subplots to the races, and all the little, you know, transgressions, the little beefs that people tend to have in the ACC community, and then they get on the racetrack and then they got to throw it down, they got to back their words. Love to see it, mate. Love to see it. But anyway, 3 minutes to go, podium position, chasing down the guy in the Porsche. I'm not quick enough to catch him, but he's not exactly pulling away. This guy in the Bentley behind me, he's looking mean, but if I don't make a mistake, there's no way he can pass me, man. Again, I'm just trying to keep it as neat as possible. I've sort of regained myself after making all those mistakes, and I just got to keep it nice and simple. It tends to, you know, the back end can step out a little bit in the AMG, but I feel like on Zandvoort, that happens with the majority of the cars, man. You just can't, you know, there's no car where you can just put your foot down and the back end just doesn't step out. And that's what it is, man. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable sometimes, because these cars, they can catch you out, man. As I said, ACC, incredibly realistic when it comes to, you know, simulating how these cars behave, man. Each car has its own character, and you sort of have to be ready to tame it. You know, it's just, there's not an easy way around playing this game. There literally isn't. You could put your traction control all the way up, but then you'd probably be losing around 2 seconds a lap. Or you could just get good and just learn how to balance the throttle, you know, learn how to trail brake. All the driving techniques you would need in real life, you have to be able to apply them to this game, because they are very important. And even me, I'm not the best at trail braking, I will admit that, and that'll be one of the reasons why I lose time compared to the fastest guys. But as I said, at the moment in the AMG, pretty happy with how it's going, pretty happy with the handling, man. And there is definitely some things. As you can see, the guy behind loses it. I think he has a similar snap to what I had. Back end comes round, you catch it, it snaps the other way, but I think he had a more violent snap than what I had. Goes off into the gravel, loses a couple of positions as well. Sad. But we've managed to keep it on the track, and we'll be coming up to the last lap. The guy in the lead in the Porsche is absolutely gone. 5.5 seconds. And yeah, I was thinking if we could make the improvements to the setup that I wanted and just get the car to feel a little bit more connected all around, I believe I could challenge that pace. I believe I can challenge that pace. As I said, just got back on the game really, just started grinding again. So with a little bit of hard work and perseverance, lads, I believe we can improve the pace. I believe we can have the similar pace to what the front runners had in the race today. And we'll have to see for the next one, man. I'll definitely be doing another video because I'm going to do some more LFM races. Our pace is dropping off a little bit. We're losing about 9 tenths per lap. And that's where, you know, those are the kind of things you have to try and fix in terms of making a better setup. You can't afford to be dropping 9 tenths a lap in just a 25-minute race. That already shows you, if you were to do an hour-long race with no pit stop, by the time you get to the end, your pace will be absolutely done. So I kind of aim in a 25-minute race to lap within, by the end, I still want to be lapping within 4 tenths of my fastest time, and then I feel like that's a decent base to start off with to go with the longer races. But as you can tell, I'm not losing time too much through this section. I'm only a 1/10 and a half off, but as it gets to the tight corners, as I said, if you look at my front right tire pressure, where that pressure is completely dead, in the tight corners, it just does not have the grip. You see, we just lose time. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy how accurate ACC can be with little details like that. But as we'll come to this corner, I'll probably lose even more time just not being able to keep the car just tight and get on the power as soon as I want. So we'll lose another 1/10 and a bit through there, and I guess through these last 2 corners we'll probably lose a bit more. Yep, nose can't go in, can't get on the power as quick. You see how much time we lose. It doesn't look like much, but it, you know, it definitely adds up, and we're going to lose another 6 tenths. So overall, you know, by the end of the race, we done all right. We didn't do too bad. We got the podium, lads. First race back. We definitely have to do another race and see how we manage to handle the car changes and see how much quicker we can get. But anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy my first LFM race back. Made a couple of mistakes, but in the end, we managed to get the podium, lads. All right? But anyway, it's Kryptic TMG. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to catch my videos first. And peace.